Minasan, konnichiwa. Today, what I'm going to talk about is the English that I hear. That's one of the things that I'm going to miss when I leave here for good. Since I live here, people speak English. It's not native English. It's very good English, don't get me wrong, but I guess what I'm trying to say is when my Japanese friends speak to me in English, they tend to use Japanese grammar with English words. And most of the time, pretty much like 90% of the time, even if their English is just a little bit funky, I can understand it. And in the same way, I speak a little bit strange Japanese because I'm not a native speaker and I'm still studying it. And I think they can understand what I'm trying to say if I say something clumsily or if I say something wrong. I am going back to California, and from then on I'll be speaking with native Californian English speakers, so I'm not going to get this quaint English that I normally hear every day. Sometimes I have nothing to do. I just sit there, and people come up to me, and they're concerned, so they like to say, they want to say, "Are you bored?" or "I think you're bored," but it's happened to me quite often. They come up to me and say, "I think you are boring," or "Are you boring?" And the first time I heard this, I was very surprised. It's like, what? The reason for this is because in Japanese, they have something called genzai shinkoke, which is the equivalent of the present progressive in English. Like the ing verbs, I am running, I am eating, I am making a video right now, I am talking, something, an action that is ongoing and from the present. And the thing is, like, the thing is, in English, we have ing words, but we also have nouns, like running or skiing. They're not verbs, they're things. Like, I like running, I like skiing, And also, what else do we use ing for? Another uses, I can't think of off the top of my head. But in Japanese, they think, because of the ing, they think of it as their present progressive. And in Japanese, it's taikutsu shite iru. In other words, you are doing boredom. It sounds a little strange in English, but it literally sounds like, in English, that's literally what it would, word for word, be translated as. I am doing boredom. In other words, you're bored. Because if you're bored, it's a continuous action. That's Japanese thinking. It sort of kind of makes sense in English, right? But the thing is, they like to they take that, are you boring, and that's their version of it, Shiteiru is ing. So taikutsu shiteimasu ka is, are you boring? But they don't understand that that's being used as an adjective in English. So it's an insult in English. Are you a boring person? Or I think you are boring. I think you are a boring person. What they mean to say is, are you bored? I think you're bored. I mean, I'm sorry. There's nothing for you to do. That's what they're trying to say. So that's one common mistake that I hear a lot. It's quaint, it's cute. I've gotten used to it, but the first time, the first time was a whoa, what? The second, I'm going to talk about two. The second one is see, in Japanese, the future tense and the simple present tense are the same. We have two different tenses in English. I will go to the store. That's future tense. I go to the store, which is simple present tense. And the thing is, simple present tense in English is used for repeated actions. Like, every morning I go to the store type thing, or I speak English. It's like a continuous state that's not repeated, but you get what I mean, right? Japanese is much the same way. The thing is that they don't have different tenses. So they'll say, like, store ni ikimasu, which means I go to the store, literally. And that's simple present tense. Mainichi, every day. Mainichi, store ni ikimasu. Every day I go to the store. That's what that means. But here's the thing, though. In English, we would say, I will go to the store tomorrow. It's a different tense. Instead of I go, I will go. But in Japanese, they don't. They'll say, ashita store ni ikimasu. It's the same thing. They just added ashita. Ashita means tomorrow. Mainichi store ni ikimasu. Ashita store ni ikimasu. The tense, well, they don't have tenses. They conjugate. The verb is the same as what I'm trying to say. Okay, but you know, in English we have two different tenses. So when Japanese people speak English to me, they'll say like they'll use simple present tense for future tense in English, and it sounds a little odd. For instance, do you go to the party tomorrow? Or something like that. um, do you go to Hokkaido next week? And you know, I mean, you hear it and it sounds a little awkward. Your brain, my brain does a little, you know. I of course I can understand it. Everyone can understand it, but you know, it's cute. You know, I don't have the heart to correct them because it takes too long to explain it to them. But yeah, it's pretty common for Japanese non-native English speakers to say those things. Um, yeah, I'm gonna miss that. I mean, the funky English that I hear, it's cute. It's cute because the people are trying. You know, they're not making mistakes on purpose, and I'm not trying to poke fun at their you know little their English, which is a little bit off. Because I'm not one to judge. My Japanese is way off. So, and they don't have to be speaking English to me. They can just say that in Japanese, but they're going that extra mile by speaking English. So, yeah, that's what this vlog is about. Is just the little funky English that I gotten used to, have come to adore, and will no longer hear in about 5 weeks. Okay, that's it. See you. Bye.